Hi there! Welcome to the second in this video series about how to protect your career from injury. Please keep your comments coming. It's what makes this a live dialogue between us, and I'm very happy to hear any of your questions or your comments. It's all valuable to me. So in this next clip, you're going to see me teaching to the same group about the last 4 stages of injury, stages 4, 5, 6 and 7, and about their implications. So I hope you find this valuable. Stage 4 gets a little bit more serious. Instead of being micro tears of muscle, it becomes micro deformation of the bones. Now if you tap a bone repeatedly, imagine that elastic band hitting with a percussion at the end. If the stress on the joint, which is where the muscles are pulling, with movement, they go onto the end of the joint. That's how we lever our movements. Remember all this from your A&P? Okay, if you repeatedly tap a bone, it will grow there. Bones grow from stimulation. That's what osteoarthritis is about. Because the muscles have often not done their job or been depleted. The excessive impact on the ends of the joints, and the bones grow. Knobbliness. The micro scars also start joining up to make bigger scars. So now you're getting scar tissue that you still don't see, alright, but the scar tissue is growing into bigger, more hard to repair. And the only sign of this micro deformation is that while you're massaging, you might ache a little bit. That's the only sign, and you're already at stage 4. Okay? Like me, if you're like me, you didn't know anything about this, I carried on. Oh, it ached a bit, that's fine. Then we move to stage 5, which is what's called delayed long-term injury. Now we've gone from micro trauma to micro deformation to actual injury. And this injury is now where the scar tissue and the joints are not healing in 24 hours, and they're progressing. In other words, the loading of injury is more now than the body can handle. So the injuries are progressively getting worse. And again, the only sign of this injury is that after your treatments, you're getting the aches and pains. Now, do you remember in the previous video I talked about how when I cycled from the clinic to my home, I noticed I was aching on the handlebars. Not from the cycling, from the massage. Turning handles. And I was aching afterwards. Right? Most massage therapists will not think this is an injury. They'll just think they're aching a bit. But when you study injury, you realize we're actually here at a very serious stage. And if you do what I did, you will carry on. And then what happened was I got the extreme injury that would take me to the doctor. Had I gone to the doctor, it would have been an RSI diagnosis. It was so clear. Actually, I didn't have the time. I had a busy practice and I found a way that worked. And of course, when I was working now, I was massaging the muscles with my clients' bodies. So my body was getting massaged by the clients and there was no extra strain going on my wrists. So my clients healed me. And they didn't charge me, but they healed me. And my health, within a short period of time, maybe 3 years for this level, I was able to go to the gym and lift weights, and still can, with my wrists. Okay, no problems at all. Alright. But stage 6 is when you get a medical diagnosis. A lot of therapists actually do what I did, which is self-diagnose, because we're in the business of understanding our bodies, and don't ever get that medical diagnosis. And some of us diagnose ourselves a little bit less seriously than we should do. And if I carried on, if I hadn't found a solution to this, then what would have happened was the injury would have become permanent. I would have to stop careers. Now I know this is a fact because I have personally met hundreds of massage therapists whose careers had stopped from stage 7. So the signs are not good. In terms of what you can notice, the first 3 are invisible apart from being exhausted. Stage 4 is we might ache during the massage. Stage 5 is we ache after the massage. Stage 6 is it's too painful to massage. Stage 7 is I have to change career. Those are the only signs of this injury, unless you stop them at each stage. How do you do this? Well, the obvious answer is to do no hands, because that's the way to carry on your career and learn a safe way of working. If you don't do that, you're not going to do anything for the first 3 stages because you don't know anything's wrong. Yeah? If you don't learn this stuff. If you get to aching during the massage, to give the body proper recovery time, you need to stop for 2 to 6 weeks for the tissues to fully heal and be ready for the next onslaught, which, by the way, would happen with 1 day of massage. So you do 1 day of massage and you do 6 weeks of recovery. That's how long the tissues will take for that level of injury. That's the reality. I mean, who can build a practice on that? If you get to the aching after massage, you need to stop for 2 to 6 months for that abnormal bone growth to be reabsorbed in the tissues of the body. Yeah? For the injury in the scar tissues to heal fully. And you won't be going back to how you were, because already that scar tissue will have changed the muscle structure. Yeah? So what you do after that is going to injure more easily. That's why when you've had an injury somewhere, you're likely to repeat injury, because the scar tissue will have reduced the functionality of that zone. Does this make sense to your anatomy, physiology knowledge, yeah? And so you do a day of massage, you need to stop for 2 to 6 months, then you can do another day of massage, stop for 2 to 6. I mean, it's insane, you can't do it. Yeah? If you get to the medical diagnosis, you're out for 2 years. And proper RSI injury that's going to require a splint, that gets that diagnosis, you will, if you're wise, you won't stress that joint for 2 years. And the last 6 months of those 2 years, you'll start to strengthen it up again. Yeah? And you might be able to do another day of massage. But because of all the history of injury to this part, you do 1 day of massage, and it's 10 times worse than when you started. You're going to get injured that much more quickly. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. This is basic injury knowledge. Ironically, this is injury knowledge that most massage therapists know regarding their clients. But somehow we've forgotten to put ourselves in the healing equation. I know so many injured massage therapists who are helping injured clients, but they're not helping themselves. Yeah? That's why we need to move the paradigm of healing from the sacrificial paradigm of Florence Nightingale to the healing synergy paradigm of no hands. It's a change of mindset. Your position in the healing situation is the most important part. Because without you, there's no healing for the client. Yeah? The client comes for massage. If there's no massage therapist, what's happened to the therapy? It doesn't happen. So if you can't maintain yourself, your role as a therapist is being reduced massively. And if you get to the stage 7, which is the disability level, there's nothing you can do. Train in another career. Yeah? I know so many massage therapists who got injured who became teachers at massage schools. I don't know how people have that sleep at night. I just don't know how they do it. So you have to find another career. Okay, and that's the 7 stages of injury. Now in the next video I'm going to talk about what research we found in terms of just how prevalent this situation of injury is. Now, you may have some issues around the amount of recovery time that I'm suggesting in this recent clip. The first thing to understand is that every single injury has a unique etiology, and recovery times will actually vary from person to person. That said, I want to add a couple of extra points because I think it's important to be clear about what you can do in terms of protecting your career. The first point I want to make is about stages 1 to 3. Now remember, these are the invisible stages. When there are very few signs, you could take action. And that would be to give yourself a 48-hour recovery period in between every treatment or 2. This is not particularly useful if you want to build a career. My next point is about stage 4. Now remember stage 4 is where the aching is only happening during the massage. And you might wonder why I've said you need 2 to 6 weeks recovery time for this. Okay, well the truth is 2 to 6 weeks is the bog standard medical recovery time for damage to the tissues. Like the professional footballers, we need to be at tip-top condition before we're fully able to start working again. Now, with massage, it might not be a sudden tear. We are talking about just aching during the massage, but we now know that these aches indicate a slow deterioration and damage to tissues. We also know the body is going to take this much time to build the scar tissue around the sites of injury. And if you do come back too early from injury, one of the big dangers is you re-injure yourself way more quickly than the original injury happened. Which brings me to my next point, which is about stage 5. Now remember, at stage 5, you've got aches and pains during the massage, or just aches, and you've got aches and pains after the massage. Now, 3 to 6 months for this period, you might go, that's a big recovery time. The injury is coming at a rate faster than the immune system can deal with it every night. We've got this cumulative build-up at stage 5. This means that every day the problem is getting way worse than it was the day before or the day before. So you haven't just got the day's injury to deal with, you've got the accumulation of the previous day's injuries that the immune system has not been able to deal with. And this is why this takes so much longer. What we've got here is a collapse of the immune system's ability to deal with the rate of injury. So 3 to 6 months for aches during the massage or aches after the massage is again the kind of timescale that you need to be thinking of when you're dealing with this level of injury if you want to return to your massage when you are at optimum level. My next point is about stage 6. That's the stage where there is now sufficient pain for you to go and receive a medical diagnosis of some form of RSI. There are several variations, carpal tunnel, there's a whole wide variety of descriptions of all the same thing. They're not different really, they're all the result of overloading and overstress, and different parts of the wrist might go, but it's pretty much an RSI injury. Now, the claim that you may need up to 2 years recovery time for this claim is actually made on the simple reality of my experience and the experiences of all the injured therapists that I have met. By the way, many therapists that I have met have reached this stage and never got well enough to return to their business. So this 2 years, actually, it's quite an optimistic one. And if you've had the trauma of this level of injury as I have, or you've met as many massage therapists who've had this level of trauma as I have, then you will know for a fact that this is a very realistic timescale for recovery from stage 6. And that has been the story that I have heard from so many broken massage therapists who have been broken simply by following the techniques that they were taught in their massage training schools. I can't think of anything that is more tragic than people who have invested their money, invested their time, done exactly what they were told to do, have built successful practices, have got busy, and then get injured. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't even want to do to your worst enemy, let alone to a good friend. And every massage therapist that I meet is a colleague, is a brother or a sister trying to help change this world through the massively wonderful healing power of touch. We can't afford to lose you. You are so precious and special to this world and to this profession. We need an army, we need armies of touch healers to help this world heal. Between now and the next video, which I'm going to send you, if you need a bit more cheering up, there's a video you can go and look at, which is me talking to the same group of massage therapists. And in that, I'm sharing with them the discovery and the meaning of a new paradigm of massage, which means that we no longer have to be worried about this problem of injury. And this is the paradigm I mentioned in this last video called the healing synergy. So if you want to find out more about healing synergy, you can hear me explaining it to this bunch of massage therapists. Either way, I hope to see you at the next video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.